Hey everyone. This video is for the high earning, high achievers who are daydreaming about starting their own business or bringing their business idea to life, but do not know where to start. In this video, I'm going to be sharing 5 things that I wish I knew before I officially let go of my full-time job and started working on Steadyworth full-time. If you are a high achieving professional who wants to create impact and live out your vision and values without sacrificing financial security, grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, take some notes. In this video, I'm going to give you simple, practical places to start so that you can build confidence to leave your job and start your dream business. My name is Laura Walters. I'm the co-founder of Steadyworth. I'm also a life and leadership coach who specializes in helping full-time employees bring their business ideas to life. I have spent the last 10 years as a corporate consultant. During that time, I 7x my income. I've managed multiple side hustles and I co-founded Steadyworth. So I'm super excited to share lessons with you because this is something they are not teaching you in business school or in your MBA program and will be super helpful as you think about transitioning. Consideration number 1 is to get your messaging and your offer clear first. So many people get bogged down by the idea of websites, logos, names, business plans, marketing plans. How are we going to get it out there? How are we going to do this? And I can tell you that the most important thing that you can do is get really, really crisp and clear on your messaging and what it is you're actually offering the person. So, can you explain what you want to do in 1 to 2 sentences? It does not need to be complicated. In fact, complicated is your enemy. At this point in your journey, you want it to be so simple that you can write it on a post-it note and stick it to your work laptop so it can remind you what it is you're trying to do and what it is you're trying to accomplish. One thing to think about, these are very simple questions, but what problem are you solving? What solution can you provide? And how will you do it differently than anyone else? Right. And so I think if you're able to get really crisp and clear on that, that's a great starting point. The second thing is what it is you're actually offering. Again, this does not have to be complicated. Write this on a post-it note. I am offering mentorship services, coaching services, financial education, a product of some sort. Just get really clear and crisp on what it is you're actually offering, and then test this with people. Talk to people about this, get their feedback, see what they think. The more you talk about this and the more you share it with people, the more you will start to refine your messaging and figure out what lands for people and what doesn't. This, I'm telling you, is the best first step. And it's the easiest thing it's the hardest thing and the easiest thing you can do. And I say it's the hardest thing you can do because one of my favorite quotes of all time, my background is in communication, is sorry for the long email. I didn't have time to write a short one. So get all of your ideas out there and then refine, refine, and refine. This is key step number 1. Consideration number 2 is to make a financial plan. I would be remiss not to mention this as a key component to your success as you transition from a full-time job to an entrepreneur. Cash is king in this type of environment. And so, really assessing your budget, understanding what your expenses are, understanding how you can reorient some of your money towards this goal is going to be super important. A couple of things that Gabe and I did when we were thinking about when he was thinking about starting Steadyworth, I was still working full time, was he stopped contributing to his 401k. Again, this is not advice. This is just what we did, because he wanted to have more cash to put into his business, and retirement was kind of something that was longer down the line for him. He also sold his car, and at the time, used cars were selling at a premium, so he was able to get a $7,000 check that was going to go directly to starting and funding the business. So look to find creative ways to put money into I'm starting my business finally fund. My one caveat here is do not let finances prohibit you from taking steps forward to actually making this business idea real. A lot of people use this as an excuse. Well, I don't have the money. I don't have the money. And the money will only come when you sit down and you put some guardrails in place about how you're saving, how you're spending. And the big thing here is, especially if you're looking to keep financial security, is to make sure that you have a fund and you're comfortable with that fund. The truth is that starting a business is risky. So understand that when you're saving, you are it When you start a business, you have to spend money in order to make money. So it is a completely different mindset shift from I'm a full-time employee to I'm a business owner. So even your idea about how you spend money or what your mindset is around how you spend money has to change fundamentally from full-time employee to business owner. The way I manage my expenses when I was a full-time employee and how I manage my money as a business owner is completely different. If you would like help with that, we will drop a link to our calendar where you are more than welcome to schedule time with us and brainstorm this out with us. We do this all the time. We do this with all our clients. We have clients who are professionals looking to start new businesses. We have business owners. So of course, we're business owners as well. If you want some help with that, I'll drop a link to schedule time with us. But this is really important to get right because most businesses don't fail because the idea is not good. They fail because they run out of investment money and money to move the project forward. So this is vital to your overall success. So start saving and start examining what your relationship with money is and how it might have to shift as a business owner. The third thing that I would highly recommend is to curate your support system intentionally. I cannot tell you how important this is when you're shifting from full time to business owner. A lot of friends, a lot of family will not understand what you're doing, why you're doing it, and what the purpose is. And they will, out of good intention, trying to protect you from failure, disappointment, discouragement, humiliation, whatever it is, will sow seeds of doubt into the process. Not everyone, but a lot of people will do this. And so it's really important to be intentional about who you share your vision and your plan with about your business and make sure that those people will back you when you're feeling down, will pick you up when you just recently failed because you will and will keep you moving forward. I cannot emphasize how important this is. One thing that I say to people all the time, and I'm not just saying this because I am that person now, one of the reasons why I've become that person is I really wish I hired someone who, number one, had done it before, quit their full-time job, started a business, and who could help me curate and create clarity in my messaging, our offer, etc. But also someone who had a skill set in helping me bring out the strengths and bring out the ideas that were I was really passionate and I had a lot of values around. Sometimes you're so in yourself, you don't understand, you can't see your values or you can't see your vision in the same way another person can. And that truly is the value of a coach because they're going to draw that out of you through the process of coaching. And you're going to get more clear about who you are in relation to your business idea and how that adds even more value to the idea itself. So highly recommend that as well. If you have the funds and the opportunity to do that, I do think it will accelerate your ability to go from idea to reality. But curating your support system is so important. Even if there's someone who doesn't understand what you're doing, but they're still supportive of you doing it, keep those people in the loop. We watched a podcast recently and he says something about be careful telling your big vision to a small mind. And so keep that in mind and take feedback and advice only from people that who've either done it before or who you admire in some way. The fourth thing I would consider is make sure that you're adopting a testing and a learning mindset. A lot of business is trial and error. Like, will this idea work? Does my audience like it? Is this something that's actually going to add value or something that I only think will add value? You have to be testing your ideas all the time and not be afraid to put messy stuff out there. In fact, I would highly recommend putting messy stuff out there because you'll get the feedback and you'll almost immediately start to see where you want to refine and what you want to make better. I would say what's really important in this as well is when you're first starting out, like don't be afraid to offer your services for free. One thing that I did when I started coaching formally was I put out an offer on LinkedIn and I said, "Hey, I'm looking for 5 pro bono clients that I can work with where I can practice my skills and I'll do it all for free in exchange for a testimonial." This has been so fruitful for me. I had 5 clients reach out to me. I've been able to work with each of them individually. I've learned so much about the process of coaching, my style, what I'm really interested in. And I found out that I'm actually just super passionate about helping full-time employees bring their businesses to life, because so many people have these, I call them quiet dreams, dreams that sit below the surface, and they're working full time. They're not necessarily dissatisfied with their job, but they kind of have this ache or desire in their heart to do something bigger and create more value in the world, but don't really know where to start. And I learned all that because I offered my services for free. And in that process, I learned a lot, and I've been able to use that to continue to refine my messaging, how I talk about what I do, and how I talk about what Steadyworth does as a whole. So don't be afraid to offer your stuff for free. Of course, don't do it for free forever. But while you're working full time, it's a great opportunity to test and try your ideas on coworkers, families, friends. And that will really even help you with consideration number one, which is getting clear on your messaging and clear on your offer. The last point, and I think honestly one of the most important points, is to have a relentless belief in yourself and your business idea. Starting a business is not for the faint of heart. You will encounter setbacks, you will have discouragements, you will face rejection. And I think one of the hardest things about being a business owner is there's really no one else to blame but yourself. Whereas when you're in a full time job, there's a lot of different people to blame: your boss, your coworker, the person that can never seem to get their stuff done on time, or the organization shifted priorities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. One of the things that I've said to people is, if you really want to go on a self transformation journey and a personal growth journey and learn about yourself, your beliefs, your mindset, start a business. I have had one of the biggest personal growth transformation experiences that I've ever had in my entire life over the last 2 years, like fully in on Steadyworth. And a lot of my limiting beliefs came out during that time. Can I really do this? Can I really do that? But truthfully, that is part of the process, and it's part of building resilience in you, building confidence in you, and building even more confidence in the value that you provide to your business. And so, what I would say, because it's so easy, and if you take nothing else from this video, do not give up. If you genuinely believe in your idea, if you genuinely believe this is something that will create value for the world and it will change the world, please don't give up. For my sake, for all of your clients' sake, don't give up. I have felt the tendency so often. And thankfully, I was doing this with Gabe, and he was pulling me up when I was down. I was pulling him up when he was down. We had friends, we had a curated support system that was keeping us motivated. And of course, we had our faith in the Lord as well, which kept us going as well, because we genuinely believe that this was something that God had called us to do. And so believe in yourself and give yourself permission to go for it. I think those are two really big things that I just want to emphasize in this particular point. In closing, if you start to feel overwhelmed, if you start to get overwhelmed at any point during this creation process, I highly recommend rewatching this video. These are the fundamentals, these are the basics, these are the things that are going to move you closer and give you forward momentum. Again, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Be sure who you get feedback from and how much of it you take. I always used to say, in corporate America, feedback is more about the person giving it than the person receiving it. So make sure that you're intentional about who you're receiving advice from. Make sure you get mentors. Make sure you're receiving advice from people you really admire and or who have done it before. So these are just 5 things that I highly recommend considering as you're working through your full-time job and preparing to bring your business idea to life. If you thought this video was valuable, please like, subscribe, share with a friend. And again, if you're ready to take the leap forward, or you really are serious about making progress on bringing your idea to life, I have dropped a link in the description box below where you can schedule a free clarity call, and we can discuss next steps, or I can just help you flesh out your idea. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and can't wait to see you next week.